When I was 14, I planned my wedding.
This one's wife, Ingriftus, mirroring Harry. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Human beings engage in mirroring. It's said, of course, that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Nevertheless, there is an evolutionary reason as to why human beings mirror other people. It's actually something called limbic synchrony, and it is done for the purposes of survival. This imitation that takes place between human beings is such and is present even before a human is born. Babies' heartbeats take on the same rhythm as that of their mothers. Mirroring is done to demonstrate an interest in another person by way of copying their body language, their speech, facial expression, the words that they use, their interests, perhaps the way that they dress. The reaction, laughing when somebody else laughs, yawning when somebody else yawns. This mirroring is done for the purposes of demonstrating to the other person that you are interested in them. It is done to demonstrate trust. It is done to demonstrate a sign of comfort that people are in sync. This is what occurs with human beings. However, the narcissist takes it to another level with regard to mirroring. The narcissist mirrors, as you would expect, because it links to the prime aims. That when a narcissist is interacting with someone else, the mirroring serves two purposes. The first is the pursuit of the prime aims. Thus, by mirroring what the other person does, it may well make them feel more comfortable. It may well make them more trusting of the narcissist in the way that it does between an interaction where there is no narcissist involved. And in such circumstances, by causing that person to feel more comfortable and to trust the narcissist, even though they don't know that's who they're dealing with, that aids the narcissist with regard to the assertion of control. Similarly, mirroring that person and prompting a reaction from them provides fuel to the narcissist. It enables the narcissist to fit in, which aids with control and potentially facade management. And narcissists make considerable use of mirroring, not just in the interaction that takes place, but with regard to what you like, what you dislike, so that you feel more drawn to the narcissist, that you feel, I've met someone that has so many likes like mine. I've met my soulmate. There are so many areas of interest that we have. We're made for one another. Now, as I've explained previously, people are in effect seeking their other half. They're seeking someone similar to themselves. I don't mean a complete facsimile of who they are, but someone of similar levels of attractiveness, intelligence, moral turpitude, with regard to the way that they see the world, the standards that they apply, the interests that they have. And therefore, what the narcissist does is basically mirror yourself back at you, making you easier to ensnare. There's a certain irony in that, because in effect, in the romantic setting, you're actually caused to fall in love with yourself, which sounds rather narcissistic. But the fact is, human beings use mirroring for the reasons that I outlined previously, but narcissists take it to another level for the pursuit of the prime aims. But there's another aspect to it, and we're going to see something in that regard in relation to a piece of footage from the Ingriftus games. This one's wife will from time to time mirror Harry, and naturally she will do so because it's an interaction between her and an appliance for the purposes of the pursuit of the prime aims. She'll mirror Harry to control him. She'll mirror Harry to get fuel from him. She'll mirror Harry perhaps to get a residual benefit from him. But it's also the case that the mirroring occurs because the narcissist doesn't actually know what to do. As I explained in an earlier video, this one's wife is empty, and what her narcissism has to do is anticipate the appropriate response in certain situations so that she can then demonstrate a particular set of phrases, tone, intonation, the look in her eyes, body language, facial expression, etc., in order to fit in. Her narcissism, as you know, doesn't always get it right. By mirroring somebody, by copying them, by imitating them, it's easier for the narcissist than actually having to actively think, what should I be doing now? Instead, it's copy the person next to you. That'll work. And you're now going to see an example of that, which not only highlights the mirroring of the narcissist, but the emptiness of this one's wife. Have a watch of this.
Okay, we'd like to say thank you, of course, to Prince Harry. When he called me, he said, I've called every other musician in the world. They all said they're not available, so I have to call you.
This is part of the opening ceremony where Chris Martin has turned up, and he's explaining that he'd like to say thank you to Prince Harry as the various competitors look on. And he cracks a joke by explaining when he called me, he said I've called every other musician in the world. They all said they're not available. So I have to call you. Now, whether Harry said that and he cracked a joke to Chris Martin, or whether that wasn't said and Chris Martin's mocking Harry, or he's just telling a joke, that remains to be seen. But that's not the purpose of this particular video. As Chris Martin is relating this anecdote, the camera cuts to Harry and this one's wife sat in the audience. And you will note that Harry laughs and he shakes his head at the comment that is made by Chris Martin. This is to say, "Oh, Chris, you tinker," saying that. This one's wife, because people are laughing, joins in with the laughter, and she turns towards Harry, seeing him shaking his head. What does she do? She then copies him. Because she's empty. Because the narcissism says, just do what Harry's doing. But notice that when Harry does it, it's a quite subtle shaking of the head. Whereas with this one's wife, she looks like a horse. That's shaking its head before it's about to set off on a gallop. It's plain as day that she's not doing it until she sees Harry, and then she instinctively launches into the exaggerated shaking of the head. She's copying Harry. And why is she doing it? She's doing it because she simply doesn't know how to react in these situations, because she's empty on the inside. And what you witness is not only the mirroring of the narcissist for the purpose of the pursuit of the prime aims, but the mirroring of the narcissist because the narcissism simply selects imitation as a means of response, because it doesn't know actually, or rather the narcissist doesn't actually know what to do in such circumstances. But once again, it's exaggerated because nothing is genuine about this woman. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.